Good day, grade 8 students. This is Miss Mayani. Love and share Christ. Most of the time, when we read stories, there are certain words that are unfamiliar or difficult for us to understand. But when that happens, we don't usually have our dictionary or other online resources. What then is the best way to unravel the meaning of these unfamiliar or difficult words? The answer to that is very easy. We just have to use the context clues. But before that, let us first define what context clues are. Context clues are hints that an author gives to help define a difficult or unusual word. It can be just a word or a group of words. The clue may appear within the same sentence as the word to which it refers, or it may follow in a preceding sentence. That's right. Just by using context clues, we can easily know the meaning of the unfamiliar words without looking at the dictionary or using the internet. But before that, let us first see how to use these context clues. Are you ready? Great! Let's begin. I have 4 riddles for you, and all you have to do is to help me define the given unfamiliar words by looking at the words surrounding the given difficult word. I will read the riddle for you. Since it was raining outside, I used my bomber suit to keep me from getting wet. So the unfamiliar word is a bomber suit. Without looking at the dictionary, what do you think is the meaning of the word bomber suit? Remember, based on the given sentence, we use it when it is raining to keep us from getting wet, which means it is simply an object or something that we use to keep us dry. Do you have your guess in mind? Let's see if your answer is correct. Great! A bomber suit is an umbrella. That's right. Next. Unlike Kyle, who is a conformer and a follower, Jeremy is a maverick. In this sentence, there are 2 words that are somehow giving us clues or hints to the meaning of the word maverick. Conformer and follower. These are the hints. But based on the first sentence, unlike Kyle, who is a conformer and a follower, do you think maverick is similar to the meaning of the words conformer or follower? That's right. They are not similar because of the word unlike. Now, I want you to guess the meaning of the word maverick. It is simply the opposite of being a conformer and a follower. I think you have your guess in mind. Let's see if your answers are correct. Good! A maverick is a loner or someone who is independent of the group. Remember, it is not a follower or conformer. It is a loner or independent. You are doing a great job. Keep going. Next. The renivorous hawk, an animal that eats frogs, is found in Central Land, Eastern Africa. What do you think is the meaning of the unfamiliar word renivorous? Look at the sentence. After the words renivorous hawk, there is a comma and a phrase which states an animal that eats frogs. Isn't it a hint? Let's see if that is the meaning of the word renivorous. That's right. It simply means frog-eating animal. Correct. And lastly, we have, in class, Julia was so cantankerous that her grumpy behavior negatively affected everyone. In this sentence, the unfamiliar word is cantankerous. It was also stated here that her grumpy behavior negatively affected the people around her. I think this is the hint, right? Now, I want you to guess the meaning of cantankerous. Let's see if your answer is correct. Good job! It simply means grouchy or ill-tempered. That's correct. See? Even if you did not use your dictionary or our best friend Google, you are able to define and unravel the meanings of the unfamiliar words just by looking at the hints or clues in the given sentence. This is what we call the context clues. Now, we also have the 4 types of context clues. We will start with the first context clue, which is the definition. The unfamiliar word is directly defined in the sentence in which it appears. Definitions are usually set off by commas or dashes and may include the use of the words as, or, that is, and in other words. So you just have to keep in mind that definitions are usually set off by commas or dashes or even words like as, or, that is, and in other words. Example, apples, red fruits that grow on trees, are my teacher's favorite. So in this particular example, we easily know that an apple is a red fruit that grows on trees because the definition is already given. In this sentence, we use a comma to set off the meaning of the word apples. Did you get it? Great! Next, we have antonym or contrast. The unfamiliar word is defined by using the word's opposite or contrasting meaning. This type of context clue usually includes the words whereas, unlike, as opposed to, however, in contrast to, but, on the other hand, and many others. For example, unlike Jen, who was easygoing, Jackie was fastidious. In this particular example, we already know that the word fastidious is the opposite or the antonym of the word easygoing. That's right. Next, context clue number 3 is what we call the synonym or restatement. Words with similar meanings are used within the same sentence or around the unfamiliar word. For example, Santa Claus was so portly that his doctor declared him overweight. It simply means that being portly is being heavy, because if you are heavy, or rather too heavy, you can be declared as overweight. That's right. And our last context clue is what we call the inference. Word meanings are not directly stated in the text, but definitions of unfamiliar words can be assumed by both prior knowledge and the context in which the word sits. For example, she was so famished that people felt sorry for her and gave her food to eat. In this example, it can be inferred that the word famished simply means very hungry because the people felt sorry that they even gave her food to eat. Now, where are context clues found? They are usually found in the same sentence as the difficult or unfamiliar word. Sometimes they can also be found in the same paragraph or passage as the unknown word. Context clues can be in the sentences following the word, for example. They are called context clues because they are found in the context of the sentence or passage. But have you ever wondered why context clues are important for you to know? First, they help you define unfamiliar or difficult words in texts. They also help you to become better and perceptive readers. And of course, they come in handy during tests when a dictionary or the internet is not available to you. That's why it is very important to know the different types of context clues and also how to define unfamiliar or difficult words without looking at the dictionary or using the internet. Did you get it? Great! Again, we have 4 types of context clues, and they are synonym, antonym, inference, and definition. You just have to remember the acronym SAID. S for synonym, A for antonym, I for inference, and D for definition. Again, this has been Miss Mayani. I hope you learned something beautiful from our discussion. I hope to see you again next week. Love and share Christ. Goodbye!
Context clues at Grammar Songs by Melissa. What are context clues? More importantly, how can understanding context clues make me a better reader? Let's get started. Context clues are hints a reader can use to discover the meanings of unfamiliar words and phrases. Did someone say discover? Yes, Detective Waddle. When we read, we have to look for clues to discover the meanings of words we don't know. Let me show you. When we read, sometimes we will come upon an unfamiliar word that we don't know and have trouble sounding out. We could choose to stop reading and find a dictionary, but this can take away from our comprehension or understanding of the story by interrupting the flow. Now, what was happening? This is why using context clues is so important. I know what clues are, but what is this thing you call context? Context is like the setting of a word. You can probably guess what is missing from this picture based on the setting or context around the missing object. Sure, a dog. Using context clues is similar. Con is a prefix meaning with. Text means written words. As a reader, you are looking for clues within the written words to help you understand unfamiliar words or phrases. How will I know where to find them? A word's context includes the words and sentences around it. This is where you can find clues to the meanings of a word that you don't know. What clues do you see? Well, we know Katie was something, so we need to read the rest of the sentence to figure this out. When her little sister kept messing up her room. So what could Katie be if her little sister is messing up her room? Mad? Frustrated? No, this word starts with an A. Angry? Aggravated. Katie was aggravated when her little sister kept messing up her room. Aggravated makes sense when you consider the context. Exactly. Authors use different types of context clues. They might use examples, synonyms, antonyms, or even definitions. For instance, the restaurant's ambiance, including its quiet music, flowers, and candlelight, made it a perfect place for Valentine's Day. If you don't know what ambiance is, the examples, quiet music, flowers, and candlelight let you know that ambiance is the special atmosphere or mood of a particular environment. Sometimes authors use synonyms or words that mean almost the same thing. The child's ability to perform gymnastics was apparent or obvious at an early age. If you are unfamiliar with the word apparent, the synonym clue obvious makes this sentence easy to understand. Sometimes authors will use antonyms to help the reader grasp an unfamiliar word by stating the opposite. Carla was meticulous with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph, who scribbled all over the page. If you don't know what meticulous means, the antonym phrase scribbled all over would let you know that Carla was neat and careful with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph. Sometimes authors actually provide definitions within the text if using a less common word. Abby was repulsed by the spider crawling up her arm. She had a feeling of disgust and dislike. If you are unfamiliar with the word repulsed, the author clearly defines it as a feeling of disgust and dislike. I can find context clues in the words. Exactly. Remember, context clues can be examples, synonyms, antonyms, or definitions. Let's read a paragraph and look for the context clues a reader might find if he or she was unfamiliar with the underlined words. It was time for the band to march on the field. The crowd was ecstatic. Ecstatic? I don't know what that means. Well, this would be a good time to look for context clues. Remember, if you can't find a clue in the sentence you just read, you should keep reading. A word's context includes the words and sentences around it. Let's start again at the beginning so we can gather all the context surrounding the word ecstatic. It was time for the band to march on the field. The crowd was ecstatic. People screamed and cheered, showing their excitement. I see some clues. That's great. What do you see? People screamed and cheered and showed excitement. Very good. Screamed and cheered would be examples of people who are ecstatic. People who are ecstatic are excited. Let's keep reading. The music intensified or increased in volume. What does intensified mean? Well, let's look for some context clues. I think I see one. Increased. Very good. Increased is a synonym for intensified. Let's keep reading. Unlike her timid friends, Morgan was unafraid to perform in front of the roaring crowd. What is timid? What context clues can we find? Unlike means opposite. Morgan was unafraid. So, if Morgan's friends are the opposite of Morgan, then her friends are afraid. Yes, timid means afraid or shy. The author used an antonym as a clue to help us. Let's continue. After the show, the crowd gave a standing ovation. Ovation? There aren't many clues in this sentence, except we know there is standing going on. Maybe we should keep reading. Great idea! The fans stood and clapped to show their appreciation for such a great performance. Wow! The author uses a definition as a clue to help the readers understand what is happening. An ovation is when the whole crowd stands, claps, and cheers. That was a great context clue. Yes, it was. So remember, context clues are hints a reader can use to discover the meanings of unfamiliar words and phrases. And authors use different types of context clues, including examples, synonyms, antonyms, and even definitions. I can find clues in the words. Yes, you can. Congratulations, Detective Waddle. You are a first-place detective of context clues. Thank you for joining me at Grammar Songs by Melissa. Enjoy other related videos at grammarsongs.com.